craving comfort fresh food made from scratch daily? Check out Aspen Creek Grill. Located across from Hamilton Town Center and beside the Holiday Inn, we offer family farm-raised premium black Agnes steaks daily, creamy pastas, salmon chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Start with our famous powwow shrimp appetizer, and don't miss our refreshing drinks. Family-friendly or a great night out with friends. Aspen Creek Grill. Aspen Creek Grill, Noblesville. Call 317-559-3300.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool. But they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person. And they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget. By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
After the Marine Corps, I was diagnosed with PTSD and became homeless for 15 years. Like a hermit living on the street. I just existed. I came to Wheeler Mission. Wheeler operates on a culture of kindness. Going through their programs reminded me that my meaning in life is to serve God. God set me free from anxiety and depression. Before Wheeler, I just existed, but today I live.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts, find a location near you, now.
Hey conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid's solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorite. Woo!
I get her! Not solo!
You see if I did it?
Receiver to the near side, a little end around at the 30, 25, still on his feet at the 20, cuts back. This will be Trey Jones.
Duke, Carolina, Ohio State, Michigan, the Yankees and the Red Sox. Some of the biggest rivalries in all of sports, but here in Hancock County, they fail in comparison to what we have scheduled for you tonight. Good evening, everyone. Alongside my broadcast partner, Clark Chafin, I'm John Cupo, and we welcome you to this elite IndianaSRN Friday night high school football matchup featuring the defending 4-H state champion Mount Vernon Marauders playing host to the #1 ranked New Palestine Dragons. Tonight's IndianaSRN broadcast is brought to you by the Morales Group, building better future one story at a time. Bertner Electric, serving greater Indianapolis and surrounding counties. IU Sports Management, begin your journey today. Piper Logistics, from warehousing to transportation, we do it all. And Reynolds Farm Equipment, serving our customers and community since 1955. Craig, when these two teams get together, not only becomes one of the most competitive rivalries in the Hoosier Heritage Conference, but arguably one in all of Central Indiana.
Well, exactly right, John, and not to mention that it is homecoming on top of that. Mount Vernon's going to be super excited. You got the #1 team, New Pal Dragons, coming in 3-0, ranked #1 in every poll that you look at. And Mount Vernon 1-2 could easily be undefeated as well, as they've lost 2 close games, one by 8 points and one by 3 points, and not to mention it's a conference matchup.
61st time these two teams will clash, dating back to 1968, a series that New Pal has the edge, 34-24 with one tie mixed in there. The Marauders. And we'll take a break on IndianaSRN.
Hey folks, good to be with you for tonight's game. My name is Andy Simpson, and I'm a licensed IHSAA football official, and welcome to Friday Night Football, powered by IndianaSRN. On behalf of the 340 football officials, the IHSAA, the crew here at IndianaSRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and more important, don't forget to subscribe to the IndianaSRN YouTube page. As you're watching tonight's contest, I'm going to show you a few of our signals that will help you better understand the information we are trying to convey. Touchdown, safety, first down, holding or illegal use of hands, encroachment, or offsides commonly known, false start or illegal formation on the offense, or a free kick scrimmage violation, face mask, intentional grounding, roughing the passer, clipping, illegal shift, illegal motion, illegal block, pass interference by the offense or the defense, delay of game, and the one signal we dislike and you as fans don't like seeing, unsporting. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and following us on IndianaSRN. You can also tune in to the Football Weekly Show and Coach's Show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on IndianaSRN.org. Finally, if you've ever thought about becoming an IHSAA official, www.ihsaa.org and click on the Officials tab or call the IHSAA office at 317-846-6601. Now, sit back and enjoy the game.
A gorgeous night here at Hancock Health Stadium as we get ready for this crucial HHC matchup between the Mount Vernon Marauders and the New Palestine Dragons. Clark, let's start with this explosive New Pal team led by head coach Kyle Ralph. A clean sheet so far at 3-0, excelling in running the football led by junior running back Grayson Thomas. But Clark, it's all predicated on that outstanding offensive line, bookended by two of the most sought-after linemen in the country, senior Luke Burgess and junior Ian Moore.
Yeah, we talked off air before the game here, John, how impressive this offensive line is. It's a college offensive line. You mentioned Luke Burgess, the Louisville commit, 6'7", 291. Ian Moore, who's a junior that's getting a lot of offers right now, 6'5", 295. And a good offensive line can make up for a lot of deficiencies. There's not many deficiencies with these Dragons, but, boy, they can pound the ball and run it. And when you can run the football, that sets up your play-action pass and just makes you very dangerous on the offensive side of the football.
On the home side, it's been somewhat of a rocky start for Mount Vernon head coach Vince Leidy. The Marauders dropped their first two, but won a crucial Hoosier Heritage Conference game against crosstown rival Greenfield Central last week. Coach Leidy has had to get a little bit more creative with his offense this year, but he has two very talented athletes to execute that playbook, and they are seniors Eli Bridenthal and George Burhen.
Yeah, they're amazing athletes, and there's a committee of Mount Vernon. They got a lot of guys that can contribute, but certainly those two gentlemen, Bridenthal and Brand, can really be playmakers for them. Offensively, as you said, though, John, I mean, they're under center, they're shotgun, they have a pistol look, they'll go wildcat, they'll do a hurry up. They've got a lot of different looks to try to confuse and get those athletes the football in open spaces and get mismatches to score touchdowns.
These two are playing for the HHC's Helmet Trophy, which is currently maintained by the Mount Vernon Marauders, and the coveted boundary rail. It's a piece of interurban track that ran along US 40, signifying the boundary between the two school districts, a tradition that started in 2005. The Dragons have kept it in their trophy case 14 of the 17 years, but it's held residency in the halls of Mount Vernon the past two. Will the boundary rail remain painted in Mount Vernon signature gold, or will it get a new coat of New Palestine red? These two teams will discuss it over the next 48 minutes when we return on IndianaSRN. And they continue to file in through the south entrance to the stadium for what is also Mount Vernon's homecoming night. Rest assured, when it's time for opening kickoff, I'm not sure if we'll even have space for standing room only. Mount Vernon, New Palestine, out in Hancock Health Stadium on a beautiful Friday night. New Palestine won the toss. They'll defer the kickoff. Let's set your starters on offense for Mount Vernon. Across the offensive line, it's Ben Remke, Kyler Grill, Tyler Dover, Roland Tremble, and the senior Travis Taylor. In the wideouts, Trey Jones, George Burhen, and Darnell Stewart Jr. In the backfield, it's Kellen LaBelle. And behind center will be Eli Breidenthal. But Clark, a guy you like that may see some reps this evening, is number 2, the freshman Luke Ertl.
Luke Ertl has been impressive to me on film, and just watching him the last couple games that they've had. He's got 598 yards and 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. As I watched last week, his 2 interceptions he threw last week were pretty tough on him because one, his arm got hit and the ball kind of got fluttered away. The second one was a bobbled pass that went through the receiver's hands and ended up picked off. But he's averaging 199 yards a game, 59%, and he's just got good pocket awareness. When he runs, he's running away from the pressure. His eyes are downfield. He's looking to hit one of these dangerous open receivers to get a big chunk play.
And let's take a look at the Dragons' defense. A very young defensive line. Coach Kyle Ralph likes to run that 3-4 defense. It's John Raines, Michael Thacker, and Brock Brownfield, the freshman, on that front 3. And then it's Eli Hook, Ian Raudebush, A.J. Ryerson, and Mason Hyatt as your linebackers, and Isaiah Thacker, Blaine Nunnally, Baylor Hurst, and Daniel Thacker round out your secondary.
And, John, with that 3-4 defense you mentioned, New Pal likes to get, if they can get pressure, and a big key for them on the defensive side of the ball, if they can get pressure with those 3 down linemen and drop 8 into coverage and mix up that coverage with a zone or man-to-man to try to confuse the freshman Ertl when he's under center, that'll be something that Coach Ralph will definitely look to for his defensive team.
Clark, one thing that you mentioned was the emergence of some of these Mount Vernon players. A lot of holes to fill from last year's state championship winning team. You lose QB1, Derek Slicker, now playing ball at Georgetown down in Kentucky. And then, of course, Keegan LaBelle, brother of our starter tonight, Kellen. Keegan is now playing ball at Marion University. And also their leading receiver, Ashton Gentry, their top receiver last year as far as yardage. But they still have George Burhen. They still have Breidenthal. Plenty of weapons for the Mount Vernon Marauders.
Well, you just look at Breidenthal's stat line. It's just really incredible. He's thrown for 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's caught 18 catches for 178 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's able to just do everything. In the Wildcat, he's able to get to the edge, use his athletic ability. He can throw the ball deep. He's just a great weapon to have and does a really good job also for Mount Vernon on the defensive side as well. And then you got George Burhan, who quite literally is very impressive at 6'5", can just run with anyone, and they're not afraid to give him a jump ball. And I just really like how soft his hands are. I haven't seen him come close to dropping a ball when you watch film.
Both Breidenthal and Burhen, 3 sport athletes for the Marauders. Burhen excelling at track, football, and he also suits up for Coach Ben Rhodes during the basketball season. Same with Breidenthal. We'll be tending Xavier.
And that's unusual nowadays, right? With so many club sports and travel basketball or travel sports, that it's a rarity to find a 3-sport athlete, but it's refreshing also to know that those kids can come out and play and be factors in each of those athletics.
It's time to let them play. You can see in the distance there a sea of red, and I know right below us, it's just a flood of mini Marauders. Ryland Vinard set to kick. And we are underway in Fortville, Indiana. And we have whistles already. Coach Leidy like to know what happened, as would we.
Maybe the crowd got so excited the officials forgot to blow the ball in play. We'll see. Well, it looks like we'll have to redo it again. It'll be just another opportunity to hear a great call from you, John, to get things going again.
So Venard's going to set up shop again at the 40.
The student section's packed there. You see across the way the new Powell students fired up, ready to go. It should be, like we said, a fun game to be a part of. Excited to bring it here to you on IndianaSRN.
All right, so we're going to hit the reset button. And we'll hit the rewind button. We'll try this third time's a charm here in Fortville, Hancock Health Stadium. Beautiful night for Friday night football.
It'd be a great time for an onside kick now.
That's right. And we are underway. End over end, deep, and it takes a bounce. Fielded at the 5. Return, he's got to Rui. He finds a gap, and he might go. And he's tackled down right around the 43, 42-yard line in Marauder territory. Great run back by Kyler Kropp on that.
Yeah, Kropp caught the ball. Initially, it looked like he thought it was just going to go to the end zone. He was content for a touchback. But once we turned around and caught it, he found a seam and exploded. There it is. As you see, that went over his head. He was kind of expected to go in the end zone for a touchback, but found a seam straight up the middle. Good pursuit by the Marauders to bring him down, but excellent field position to start the game for the Dragons.
Dragons start on the Marauder side of the field, 1st and 10. Hand up the middle.
And Grayson Thomas just a dive play straight up the middle for a nice 4-yard gain. You're going to see a lot of him tonight, running behind that big offensive line.
2nd and 7 for the Dragons. Senior Daniel Tippett in the gun, drops back, throws left side of the field, deep, has his man, and just overthrew a diving Blaine Nunnally.
Yeah, Mount Vernon brought some pressure there, picked up well by the running back Grayson Thomas that allowed that opportunity for a one-on-one down the field. Good coverage, incomplete pass. Big third down here, 3rd and 8. You got to think maybe it's 2 downs to get this first down, and you're kind of in that odd territory.
Tip it in the gun. And that's Thomas, breaks a tackle. He just got tripped up. Eli Breidenthal saved a touchdown there, but that's going to be enough for a Dragons first down.
A nice run there. Breidenthal was able to trip him up, but if you bring pressure, if you're Mount Vernon, you bring pressure. If Thomas is able to get through that first wave of first line of defense, it's one-on-one in the back end of the defense.
Tippett in the gun, Thomas in his sidecar. There's a snap. It's to Thomas. Gets through the hole. Good gain on first down. Brought down by Kellen LaBelle.
Just running behind that left side offensive line there. New Powell able to get a nice push. And that's one thing you notice on film too. When they get in that running formation, that pile just moves downhill.
Tippett looking to the sideline. Relays the play to his offense. And it looks like some movement on the Dragons.
Yeah, it looked like the first time Mount Vernon may have jumped, but the officials thought they were in the neutral zone or just shy of the neutral zone and wasn't called. And then obviously the false start penalty moves them back on 2nd down.
On number 70, Ian Moore, when 290 gets moving, it's hard to keep it from going forward. Bring up 2nd and 7. Quick out. And just a swarm of Marauders on that one. Penalty on the play. Pass was complete to Ty Mitchell.
Yeah, those quick passes, just an extension of the running game to get those athletes the ball in open space. And Ty Mitchell caught that one. But as you said, John, the Marauders were quickly closed in on that.
And unfortunate for the Marauders, got a little bit of the helmet on that one, face mask of the 5-yard variety. So we'll do it again. 2nd and 7. Tippett in the gun. Thomas behind him. And it's Thomas. Spins his way down to the 12.
Good vision there by Thomas. He was able to, he got hit in the hole, spun out of it, and went to his left side there, was able to find some room and looked like pick up the first down.
Under 10 minutes in the first quarter. 3rd and short for the Dragons in the red zone. Early stages of the first quarter. Snap to Tippett. That's Thomas. Barrels his way ahead to about the 8-yard line.
Yeah, Thomas is averaging 9.2 yards per carry, so you're seeing, and that fruits of that labor right now by that offensive line. He just is able to find, whether it's a zone blocking scheme or whether it's a call dive between a gap, he's able to get where he needs to go.
Tippett to Thomas. And good tackle on the outside. That was Tyler Kimberly.
Yeah, Kimberly with the backside pressure. It was more of a read option. He kind of held his ground and made the quarterback, made Tippett give the ball to Thomas, is able to close and now force a big 3rd down here.
Tippett with that quick count. Mount Vernon quick to get back. Fade to the corner and overshot his receiver there. Good coverage on the back end by number 11, Ren Davis, the senior.
Yeah, the Marauders were selling out right there for the run and really going to put some pressure on those corners and put them on islands in that secondary and make New Pal fill the ball and try to get the end zone that way. Good pressure, force the 4th down.
So the Dragons will set up for 3. Brendan Tanksley, 2-sport athlete, also member of the Dragons soccer team during the fall. Good snap, good hold, and we have some whistles.
I think it might have been the call with a holding, and if that's a holding, that's going to move this field goal a lot farther back, make it a lot tougher.
A lot more difficult for the senior kicker.
It's interesting. We talk about Grayson Thomas and what a good running back he is. He's also the long snapper on these field goal attempts.
Swiss Army knife for this Dragons team.
He does a lot for him for sure.
So Tanksley would try it again. This from about 30. It is up. And the field goal is good. So New Pal gets on the board first. 30-yard field goal by the senior, Brendan Tanksley. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Fortville, Indiana. New Palestine Dragons. Mount Vernon Marauders here on IndianaSRN. John Koopa alongside my partner, Clark Chafin. Early 3-0 lead.
And
for the Dragons.
Good opening drive there by New Pal. Got good field position off the kickoff return down to the 43. Didn't get anything out of the passing game, but when you have an offensive line like New Pal does, 43 yards on the ground by Grayson Thomas, and they get the early 3-0 lead. Let's see how the Marauders respond at this possession.
So we're going to flip the switch here as New Pal gets ready to kick. They line up. end over end. And fielded at the 1. And just runs into a swarm of white jerseys, probably around the 15. We'll see if they give him that spot. It's fielded by number 88, Trey Jones. And they will. Marauders offense will set up at their own 15.
An early score, Cathedral already up on Chittard, 7-0 in the first quarter.
And it's a freshman, Luke Ertl, behind center to start this ball game. The senior Ashton Julian to his left. Breidenthal out wide, Trey Jones in. And New Pal may have influenced a flag on that play. And they were correct.
Well, that 3-4 alignment by New Pal's defense, those 4 linebackers, anyone can come at any time, and that's kind of the mystery that this offensive line for Mount Vernon is going to have to solve. They're going to have to be able to communicate. Certainly the quarterback, Luke Ertl, is going to have to get him in the right play at the right time and able to navigate that defensive pressure.
So it'll be 1st and 15 for the Marauders. Here's Julian to the right side. Get some of it back. Maybe to the 13. Gain of 3 on the play.
Yeah, regardless of what's going to happen here, Mount Vernon wants to get that ball to these receivers, but you got to make sure you got to honor that rushing attack. Keep that defense honest for New Pal.
Here's Ertl. Julian to his left. Now switches to his right. Here's a snap. Ertl drops back and finds his receiver. Incomplete. Trey Jones had it, but it was good coverage on the Dragons. Knocked that ball free. That'll bring up 3rd and long.
And a nice timing play, good out by Ertl. That's one thing I like about Ertl. He can make all the throws for a freshman, and he's left-handed, so it's a different look for this New Pal defense. When he rolls to his left, he's just as dangerous as he is in the pocket.
So it's a freshman, Ertl, back there by himself. 5 receivers on the field for the Marauders. There's a snap. Under pressure. Ertl rolls. Tosses it in the air, and in and out of the hands of Daniel Thacker. Well, I think he was looking pick 6 before he could get going on that one, Clark.
Coach will always say you got to catch it first before you make a move, and that's exactly what that was. Daniel Thacker, that one was right at his face mask. Ertl rolled to his left, tried to get it to Breidenthal, who's a guy that can compete on those one-on-one jump ball battles, but a little short on that throw, and it looks like there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, flag came in a little late. And we'll see what it's all about. It looks like one of the linemen was trying to make it a 6-receiver front down there.
Certainly New Pal would decline this, you would think, and make it a 4th down. And it looks like it is 4th down. Out comes the punting unit. Cathedral, another score. John, they're up on Chittard 14-0.
Early and often.
Early and often.
The junior Dean Helms in his own end zone, ready to punt this away. And there is just, I don't know what happened there, but there was some confusion and turned into a disaster for the Marauders special team unit. New Pal fell on it at about the 6-7 yard line, and it'll be 1st and goal, Dragons.
Yeah, not the start you want. Let's go ahead and take a look as Greg, our producer, is going to fire up the replay here. You see the snap back, and it just never got to him. It was almost like the turf monster got the ball. It never got past the up man. And great awareness by New Pal to jump on that ball. Now you got a 1st and goal inside the 10.
based on the first drive, well, it's run to the right, and he cuts back, can't make a move, and it is the tackling machine, Kyler Grill, out there, number 77.
Just an end around here with Tippett. They're having success on the ground, 0 for 2 through the air. And we know their offensive attack, they're averaging 244 yards a game, so a little 3-yard run by Tippett.
Bring up 2nd and goal. Here's the snap. And tripped up there.
Nice defensive play by Roland Trumbull in there. He's able to cause confusion and disrupt that play.
Got right through the hole there. Setting up 3rd and goal. Important stop here for Mount Vernon. Here's Tippett. And he's going to keep it himself. And in the backfield, it's Keegan LaBelle.
Wow, the defense answering the call for Mount Vernon. Keegan Bell was able to follow that ball. It was a run-up pass option. Tippett kept it. LaBelle wasn't fooled. And now 4th and goal. Are you going to put points on the board, or are you going to try to go for the touchdown?
So we'll see what we have here. Looks like Tanskley's out there. And well, he takes his 7 back, 2 to the left. And it looks like Coach Kyle Ralph is going to go for 3.
Well, if anything, he's warmed up.
Snap is back, kick is up. And the kick is good. Well, New Pal does get the 3 points out of it, but a good defensive stand from Mount Vernon on a disastrous special teams play. But it's the Dragons 6, Mount Vernon 0. You're watching Friday Night High School Football right here on IndianaSRN.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Let's see,
New Palestine Dragons 6, Mount Vernon Marauders 0 in Fortville, Indiana. Mount Vernon homecoming.
I hear some cowbell, John. It's time to get it going.
It's just a packed house there at Hancock Health Stadium, and return at the 1. Here's Trey Jones. Makes a move again, and once again, great special teams coverage by the Dragons downfield.
Yeah, answering the call there for New Pal. Good special teams play on kickoff coverage. Colton Wise, the 5'10 junior, is able to come down and make the tackle, putting Mount Vernon again in a long field situation starting from the 16.
So Luke Ertl will lead him out again. There's a snap, and it's a pitch out to the right, and probably to about the 20. Jolaba Brogan, the sophomore, getting an early touch here.
Yeah, Brogan came in last week against Greenfield Central and provided a nice spark. He's someone that really, I could tell on film, had an extra gear when he's able to break through. When he gets to the second level, he's really explosive.
So we'll call it 2nd and 5. Here's Ertl. And has his man, it looks like Trey Jones out there, out to about the 26. This will be close to a Marauder first down. See where they spot it.
Well, I like the play calling there. Get that ball out of Ertl's hand quick. Get him a reception. Get some confidence going in him. and they're going to call it a 5-yard gain and a first down. They're going to move the change, which is even that much more important for the young quarterback.
So 1st and 10 for Mount Vernon from their own 26. Ertl in the gun. There's a snap. Some time. Out to the wing and just off the fingertips.
And looking into flat to Tyler Etherington, tied in 6'2", 190. Nice defense, though, by New Pal. Get a hand in there to have that pass broken up for 2nd down and long. First down is going to be important for Mount Vernon all night. They got to get positive yardage and make that 2nd down and shorten the chains.
So it'll be 2nd and 10. Hand off to Brogan, up the middle. Not much there.
And that 3-4, when we talked about those defensive linemen, Brock Brownfield, 235, John Range, 266, Michael Thacker, 265. Those guys are really doing a job of just making a big pile, right, making it hard to run through.
Watch out for the senior, number 20, Eli Hook on the line for New Pal. Here's a snap. Ertl drops in the pocket. Fires it long. Downfield. Nobody home. Was looking for Breidenthal. Just a few paces behind that one.
Well, and if you're New Pal, that's what you want. You got pressure with 4 guys. You have your 3 down linemen, and then you brought your linebacker to out on a blitz, forcing a long pass. You still got 7 in coverage and incomplete.
So it'll be the 2nd punt of the evening for Dean Helms. There's a snap. And gets this one off. There may be a finger on that one or off the side of his foot. And special teams just a death of Mount Vernon right now.
Yeah, having a tough time on special teams. Had a kind of a low snap last time, and then this time it was the opposite. It was a high snap. Took the punter out of his rhythm. Then he caught it and kind of regained himself. And I think I didn't catch the number, but I think a New Pal defender got a hand on it and makes it about a 6-7 yard punt.
They'll place it at the 32, so it's going to be up to the Marauder defense to come through like they did last time. A little bit more green to work with for New Pal, but still great field position for the Dragons. So here's Tippett. Thomas his right. There's a snap. Fires downfield and has an open receiver. That's number 13, Ty Mitchell. I'm sorry, 17, Kyler Kropp. And you can give him 6. Just got that in the middle of the field. Not a black jersey around. And he just waltzed in the end zone for the touchdown.
Yeah, Mount Vernon brought the pressure. The offensive line in the backs were able to pick it up. No one had Kyler Kropp as he went right down the seam. I think he caught it kind of surprised. Scampered into the end zone for the first score of the game. Touchdown, rather, of the game.
So here's Tanksley for the extra point. Good hold. Kick is up. And the kick is good. So one play, 1 touchdown for the Dragons. Quick strike. We'll take a break. It's New Pal 13, Mount Vernon 0 on IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. Now hiring qualified applicants.
Hancock Health Stadium, which sees the new Palestine Dragons up 13-0 on defending state champion Mount Vernon.
Yeah, very impressive. They've scored on each possession. They've had 2 field goals and then were able to punch that one in the end zone on a nice pass from Tippett to Kropp. 32 yards on one play. And just like that, Mount Vernon has found themselves in a big hole.
With 4:16 left in the first quarter, I'm sure Coach Vince Leidy's got some special teams film to be looked over on Monday. Here's George Berhen, takes the run, hard to bring down, and he's just carrying Dragons up until about the 37-yard line. Power running on the kickoff by the big senior, number 81, George Berhen.
Yeah, he drug about 2 or 3 Dragons, almost 10 yards there. Got it after contact. That was impressive, and best field position, starting field position for Mount Vernon. Now, the Marauders, they're no slouch in their offensive. They're averaging almost 30 points a game and averaging 383 yards. So with only 1 first down, let's see if they can get something going on this possession.
So the best field position for the Marauders so far. Trey Jones in motion. Here's the snap. And the handoff to the left side. And this runs into another swarm of white jerseys. That's Brogan.
But he got positive yards. Nice 3-yard gain there on first down. Shortens that chains and still gives your entire playbook. Now you can do some play action pass and maybe hit one of these lethal receivers, whether Brian Thaw, Buren, or Jones.
Second and manageable for the Marauders. Jones in motion. Snap. Here's Ertl. Rolls to his left. Still running. Some pressure. And hit immediately. That was number 3, Ian Rudabush. Just kind of read Ertl's eyes there and didn't buy the feet juke.
Well, I thought Ertl might get rid of that when he got out of the pocket, but thought maybe he could get a yard or 2 out of it and make a positive play. The result, though, is still 3rd down and a long 5.
So here's Ertl. Brogan in his pocket to the right. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Now Brogan switches over. Here's Etherington. Snap. Ertl looks to the left, downfield, and overshoots his receiver, Berhen. At 6'5", still a little too high.
Well, and he had pressure in his face, almost like it's almost a zone blitz concept, although there's no defensive lineman dropping back. You just don't know which linebackers coming. In that case, they had some one-on-one blocking, able to get through Brogan's block and put some pressure on Ertl. And now we're in another punting situation for Mount Vernon, which hasn't been their best play tonight.
Well, looks like they're putting the senior Eli Breidenthal back to punt in place of Dean Helms. Let's see if Eli can get off a good punt. There's the snap, the hold, and we've got distance on this one. High booming punt, fielded at the 20. And he's going to get to about the 35-yard line. And they'll spot it at the 35. For more than 6 years, Telemetry Sports has been working with the NFL and multiple college football teams as a data and technology provider. Player speeds and accelerations that they provide are generated using computer vision, the same technology as autonomous vehicles. As you watch these players, keep in mind that over 18 miles per hour is very fast and impressive for high school and college athletes. Tippett under some pressure, now takes off, and he'll scamper out. Good run, safe run. Smartly gets out of bounds. And we'll have a look at our opening kickoff, and you can see it right there. Oh, got up to about 19.5 on that one.
Running downhill for me, John. That's in roller skates.
It made me tired just looking at that.
Impressive return and impressive speed. What a cool thing by Telemetry Sports.
Here's handoff. And looks like Thomas was hit initially, but second effort got him past the yard marker, and that'll be good for Dragons' first down. Good second effort by the junior, Grayson Thomas.
And once again, that pile just moves from that offensive line and able to get the first down on a nice 3-yard gain.
So Vince Leidy wants to talk things over. He'll take a break, and so will we on IndianaSRN.
we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games.
13-0. Dragons over the Marauders. Handoff to Grayson Thomas. He'll barrel his way forward to the 50.
10 carries now for Thomas for 51 yards. He was able to kind of give him a leg there to make me think he was going outside, and the containment forced him back up the middle. 5-yard gain.
Under 2 minutes left in the first quarter. New Pal 13, Mount Vernon 0. Tippett takes a snap, drops back, fires to the right side of the field, and excellent coverage down the field. That was Ren Davis, a senior, just blanketed Kyler Kropp on the right side of the field.
And I think you're going to just see that from Mount Vernon, especially now that New Pal has the lead. They're going to have to force New Pal into throwing the ball. They got to come out and stop the run. New Pal wants to run the ball, milk the clock, and certainly that's something that is a strength of their offense.
So 3rd and 5 for the Dragons. Big play for the Marauder defense. Ball on their side of the 50. Back in the gun. And I think he was able to get Mount Vernon to jump there. We'll see what the call is.
And if so, that's a free 5 yards and would give a first down for New Pal.
Costly mistake for the Marauders there.
Might have a timeout here for a measurement, it looks like.
And they're going to bring out the chains.
Couple scores, John, while the chain gang's coming out. Heritage Christian leads Eastern Hancock 14-0 with 3:23 left in the first. That's one of our SRN games this week, as well as another score. We have Fishers 14, HSC 0 in the Mudsock mid-second quarter.
And it just comes up short. So it's about 3rd in the football. Tippett in the gun. Thomas at his right. There's a snap. Quick fire to the outside. That's good, complete, and he breaks a tackle. Here's Thacker. 5, touchdown. Give him 6. The quick strike to Isaiah Thacker on the right side of the field. Broke a tackle, and it was pay dirt from there.
Well, that's the gamble, one-on-one on the perimeter. Thacker's able to get that quick screen pass, get past that first defender, and his speed, they just saw the back of that number 22 as he went in for 6, the second touchdown pass of the night for Tippett.
So here's Tanksley for the extra point. Good snap, good hold, kick is up. And the kick is good. Well, New Pal has put up 20, holding Mount Vernon to a goose egg. 1:30 left in the first quarter. You're watching Friday Night High School Football here on IndianaSRN.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.indianasrn.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Participation in high school athletics does not have to end with high school graduation. Even if you've been away from the game, Get back in it by becoming a licensed official in any of the 20 sports sanctioned by the Indiana High School Athletic Association. Contact the IHSAA office, IHSAA.org. And we've got one on the field tonight. Roger Holder, a rookie, only at 53 years young, doing the IHSAA officiating for this game tonight.
We thank you, Roger, and your crew. You're doing an outstanding job, and we appreciate your efforts out there. 53 years, he's seen some things on that football field for sure.
He's probably seen a few plays here and there, but we appreciate each and every individual that dresses up in the zebra stripes for these kids. Without them, we do not get a chance to do what we do, nor do these kids get an opportunity to play the sport they love.
I always enjoyed the officials playing basketball. I mean, I always had fun with them and give them a pat. And I know they're out there working hard, and it's tough to
Clark,
play.
bodying those people down in the
That's
block.
right.
You know, you had to
That's
get on good side
That's
of the refs.
right. That's right.
So Ertl, quick out, and he's got his receiver. That's Etherington. Good completion on first down.
Yeah, nice positive. That's a play call that they had earlier that they couldn't connect. Had a little more room, a nice, precise route by Etherington. Nice 7-yard gain to start this drive.
Mount Vernon crucial to get something here. Under a minute left in the first quarter. Ertl in the gun. Here's a snap. Handoff. Good run to the right. Oh, just got tripped up. Rogan had a seam. Or no, I'm sorry. That was Drew Martin getting his first touch. Leidy throwing the whole kitchen sink at him today.
Well, Drew Martin had excellent vision there. Nice cutback for a 10-yard gain. Able to get the Marauders their second first down. Maybe it gets some momentum here in this series.
So here's Ertl. Martin behind him. 25 to play in the first quarter. Here's a snap. Here's Martin again to the left. Makes a cut to the inside. Another positive gain. Good hard running by Drew Martin.
Yeah, just on the left side, put his foot on the ground once he found some of that zone blocking and able to head downhill north-south, give him a 9-yard gain. He's got 2 carries for 19 yards.
And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Not the start that the Marauders wanted on their homecoming night. But there's still 3 quarters of football to play. It's the New Palestine Dragons 20 and the Mount Vernon Marauders 0.
You got another score here, John. North Putnam 7, Covenant Christian 6. And they've only played 1 minute and 37 seconds in that game, so some fireworks definitely for that game. A lot of scoring in Putnam County tonight.
Clark, let's go back to that last touchdown for New Pal and see what happened here.
Yeah, you see that run pass option. Thacker's able to elude that first defender and outrun the defense. Boy, he got some separation there in that last 20 yards. Looked like he might be caught. It looked like Ren Davis, the senior DB, was closing in on him. But Thacker was able to take it to another level. 44-yard touchdown reception. Daniel Trippett on the night is now 2 for 5 for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that would definitely calls for a Telemetry Sports.
I was going to say,
speed.
We're looking up here in the booth saying, where's that Telemetry Sports?
I'm glad they didn't have the Telemetry Sports when we got up to the booth.
Well, I can tell you that when I was playing, they wouldn't need Telemetry Sports when I was playing.
But for me, it was a sundial.
Timed you with a sundial. For me, it was the 12-month calendar they were timing me with. So here we go, switch fields. Mount Vernon looking towards the north side of the end zone. Trey Jones in motion. Here's the snap. And it's Martin. Another good run, cuts back the inside, and he'll get down to about the 35-yard line.
And Martin's providing a nice little spark for Mount Vernon. This is their 3rd running back tonight that they've used, and Martin's got some positive yards here.
Vince Leidy may have found something here with the senior. Here's Ertl to Martin again, up the middle. And, well, twists his way It looked like he was stopped dead to rights at the 35, but
Michael Thacker had his big mitts on him and wasn't going to let him go. Martin tried to spin out of that, but Thacker, really strong young man, able to bring him down after a 3-yard gain.
So we'll call it 2nd and 7. Here's Ertl. It's Brogan back in.
Big down here for Mount Vernon, 2nd and 7. Keep getting those positive yards.
Here's Ertl. Pitch and catch to Trey Jones. Makes the catch. Keeps moving his feet. They'll give him all those call it maybe the 28. So we'll say 3rd and 3. Very manageable for the Marauders here. Big 3rd down. Martin back in. Behind Ertl. Here's a snap. It's a pitch to Martin. Runs to the outside. Has some speed. Cuts to the middle. And gets down to the 20. That'll be good for a Marauder first down. Brought down by A.J. Ryerson, the senior linebacker.
That's 5 carries for 37 yards here on this drive alone for Drew Martin. He's really added a spark for Mount Vernon. Now they're down inside the red zone. Let's see if they can punch it in for this homecoming crowd.
So Brogan in now. Here's Ertl in the gun. Hetherington in motion. Shifts to the left. Here's Brogan up the middle. It's stopped, stood up, maybe a yard on the play. Eli Hook coming up from his linebacker position to stop that.
Yeah, that was kind of like a pistol formation, but I saw them run that play last week, and the running back scoots up even farther back behind the quarterback. He almost has a 10-yard sprint before he gets to the line of scrimmage. Good job by the defensive line of New Pal to limit that just to the 1-yard gain. That's got to be a tough play when those running backs got a full head of steam.
So 2nd and long for the Marauders. Inside the red zone for the first time, and it's Coach Light. He wants to talk things over, and we'll let him do that. We'll take a break. You're watching Friday Night Football on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that fuels your passion for sports and physical activity. IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences offers that and more. You'll have insider access to sports, fitness, and exercise science professionals and learn from faculty with years of industry experience. And with Indy as your classroom, you'll study next to world-class sports facilities, Olympic governing bodies, the NCAA, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to launch your sports industry career. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
The boundary rail on the line here in Fortville, Indiana. New Pal in Mount Vernon. Eli Breinthal takes a snap, and it's a keeper, and sniffed out immediately. Well, Leidy trying to reach into his playbook there for a little chicanery, and it was Michael Thacker that said, "No, thank you, Coach."
Thacker read that play perfectly. It was a little wildcat formation. Although Breinthal can throw the ball, they do like to run him out of that quarterback position with that, get that extra blocker on the line. Thacker sliced his way through the offensive lineman for no gain. Now this is a big 3rd and 10 here for Mount Vernon. Let's see if they can get some protection for Ertl, if he can get the ball to one of their playmakers.
So we get some yardage. Ertl drops, surveys the field, has some room to run. And he's going to jump and just threw it right into the receiver's hands. Unfortunately, they were wearing a white jersey.
And flushed him out to the right for Ertl. That's a tough throw because he's left-handed, so he couldn't really get a lot on it. The coverage was in front of the intended receiver, who was able to pick it off and they bring it out to about the 7-yard line. That's a mistake in an offensive possession. When you get in the red zone, you got to get points on the board, especially when you're down 20-0 to the number 1 team in the state.
Well, it was Michael Thacker who made the play that before on 3rd down, and then his brother Daniel makes the big interception on the goal line for the Dragons. So New Pal will set up deep. Handoff to Thomas up the middle. He'll get a few.
Good job by the defensive line by the Marauders, able to hold Thomas to just a no gain. You know, they've 11 carries, 51 yards. They're holding him well below his season average of 9 yards a carry.
We might just be in the second quarter, but this is a very crucial defensive stand for the Marauders defense. Here's Tippett. And it is caught. So Kyler Kropp has some room down the sideline. And there is nobody in front of him. Here comes Bridenthal with the angle. It's Kropp. It's Bridenthal, and he knocks him out around the 8-7 yard line. They'll say the 9. And it was just a foot race to the end zone. Bridenthal had the angle, but great play. Tippett out of the pocket. Found his receiver, Kropp. Huge gain for the Dragons.
And I thought Tippett was going down. Mount Vernon brought a lot of pressure, and he was able to find Kropp. But this might be coming back, John.
Our camera's moving back. We see some laundry on the field there. And this could be all for naught. Wow.
And it looks like that penalty is going to go against New Pal. Helmet-to-helmet contact. Could be a spot foul, though. It looks like that's what they're calling it, a spot foul from the 33, so they'll mark it back from the 33.
And they'll place this ball on the 18.
Which is still a first down for him, so obviously not an 80-yard pass play to Kyler Kropp, but they are able to get a first down and keep the drive going with 6:38 left here in the quarter.
Nope, something you don't see every day. You're happy about a first down, but you do it in sacrifice of an 80-yard pass play.
What could have been.
So we'll go 1st and 10, 6:38 left in the first half. New Pal up 20-0 on the Mount Vernon Marauders. Here's Tippett. Hands off to Thomas. Up the middle. A gaggle of Marauders to meet him. Short gain.
But this rushing attack, I know I've talked about it all night, but this will really wear on these Mount Vernon defensive players come 3rd and 4th quarter. It's really will take those toll. Those legs get just a little bit weaker. You get a little more fatigue, and those big bodies keep pounding on you, and that's when you can break a big one.
So we had some whistles blown before that ball got snapped. We'll see what this is.
I didn't see any movement. It was a pre-snap violation, though.
And I just think we wanted to...
needed a blow, needed a quick breather,
right.
Slow down the tempo a little bit.
A little humid out there in Fortville. We'll try it again. Here's a snap. Tippett throws down the sideline and found Green.
Yeah, Kropp had Kropp open there, possibly for another big gainer. Kropp had a couple steps on the defender, just unable to hook up.
So this will be 3rd and 5 for the Dragons. Tippett in the gun. Fires to the slot. There's 22. That's Isaiah Thacker. Got the touchdown earlier. And it looks like that's going to be good for a Dragons first down. Berhen on the tackle. For more than 6 years, Telemetry Sports has been working with the NFL and multiple college football teams as a data and technology provider. Player speeds, accelerations they are providing are generated using computer vision, the same technology as autonomous vehicles. Watch these players. Keep in mind that over 18 miles per hour is very fast and impressive for high school and college athletes. Here's Tippett in the gun. Drops back. Has his receiver. Pushed back at the 40. Ren Davis on the coverage. It's Thacker again, having a great game.
A nice first down play by New Pal. Again, positive yardage. 5-yard gain, Thacker's third catch.
So here's Tippett. Thomas in his pocket to the right. There's a snap. It's to Thomas to the left. Has some room to the edge. And Breidenthal, great tackle in pursuit. Came up from the safety position and just read his hips all the way. Good tackle by Eli Breidenthal.
Now, Thomas is someone that can get away as we look at this instant replay here by Telemetry Service. Look at that juke move, gets by the defender, and from there he takes off all the way to 19.5 miles an hour. Hope he doesn't get a speeding ticket in downtown Fortville for that one.
The FPD is going to be on the lookout for Isaiah Thacker after this ball game. Big 3rd and 2 here. Tippett in the gun. Thomas at his right.
New Pal taking some time trying to get the right play call with his defensive pressure.
And it's Thomas. Just plows his way forward. Just ran behind his big senior tackle there, Luke Burgess, which is a very, very smart thing to do.
Yeah, it's not a bad option to have, is it?
You go right or left with this team, with Ian Moore on the right and Burgess on the left. That's good for a New Pal first down. On their own 45. Here's Tippett. Fires. Nobody home. Looking for Crop.
And they hooked up down that seam earlier for a long 32-yard touchdown. Unable to hook up there as we have some scores coming in here. Heritage Christian leading Eastern Hancock 21-0 in the second quarter. Cathedral up with 8:30 to go before the half, 21-0 over Chittard. Or now 28-0 rather, and then Covenant Christian ahead 20-7 over North Putnam.
Here's Tippett. Looks over the middle and has a diving receiver and in and out of the hands of Thacker.
It looked like Thacker kind of stumbled out of that break and had the ball for a moment, but when he hit the ground, just the force of his speed and hitting the ground, he can go 19.5 miles an hour. It was unable to control that ball. Incomplete pass. Now it's a big 3rd down and 10 for this Marauder defense. Can you get a stop here? Maybe get the ball back and score. Because if you get a stop and then a score, then you can double up and have the ball back here at the beginning of the third quarter.
Here's Tippett on 3rd and 10. There's a snap. Tippett drops back. Fires to his right. Has a receiver. That's Thacker. Good tackle. Ren Davis. He's going to be short.
Oh, and Thacker had it. If he catches it and just falls forward, he caught it at the line to gain, but he wanted to try to caught it. Wasn't sure where he was. Tried to make a play when he went back. He lost a yard or two, and it's going to be about 1.5 yards short of that line to gain.
DJ Johnson a little shaken up on that play. He'll walk off.
And you got to think 4th and 1, you're going to see some power football behind Luke Burgess or Ian Moore. Maybe even pull one of them and get both of them going in the same direction.
So it's Thomas in the backfield. Tippett in the gun. Propping Thacker to his right. It's Mitchell and Nunnally on his left. Big 4th down. It's to Thomas, straight up the middle. Gets more. And he's still going. I guess they didn't call him down. And he's going to gallop into the end zone. They're going to call it 6.
What awareness by Thomas to keep his hand on the ground. Rolled over on the tackle, was rolling over on the defender. Elbow didn't touch, knee didn't touch. Sprints into the end zone.
It looked like Kellen LaBelle had him, but it looks like he just rolled him over and never went to the knee. And we'll have a second look at this.
Oh, thanks, Greg, our producer, for making this one happen. Here you see he doesn't go down, and he's able to stay up, has the awareness, didn't hear the whistle, keeps going. Touchdown, New Pal, just before the half.
And
now they go for two, yeah.
And they get it. A quick strike to Blaine Nunnally for 2. Well, I want to talk, and I don't even know what to say there. That's an amazing play by the junior running back, Grayson Thomas.
Just took the wind out of the sails as he was able to take that all the way. You know, we just mentioned Mount Vernon has had a couple of opportunities where, you know, if they can grasp hold and maybe get some momentum. But New Pal showing you why they're the number 1 team in the state. Boy, they have just answered time and time again. A critical 4th and 1. You make a stop there. You got the ball at midfield. Instead, Thomas makes a great individual play, keeping his balance, has the awareness to know that the whistle didn't blow, that his knee didn't touch. And even if he did or didn't, right, he didn't hear it. He just kept going. Is able to get a touchdown.
Just great awareness on that play. And as we look at the stats for Grayson Thomas here in the first half, you look down at his line and his intangibles here, and you look down and you see Junior. He's got another whole year to do this over there in New Pal. Wow.
You know, I know last year they didn't win as many games as they're accustomed to, but you can tell they have reloaded this year. They've got a lot of talent on both offense and defense. Couple that with Coach Ralph, who's 107 and 10 in 10 years, only averaging one loss a year. There's a lot of coaches that would love to have that record, so he certainly has a culture and a program to be proud of.
2 state titles in 5A, 3A last year, now 4A, and showing that they belong. Short pooch kick, and that's gonna, he should have let that go out of bounds. He does.
That was a wise decision. I don't know if that was broken or not, but the ball was kind of laying there. The kick return, our coverage team was coming out. He just thought he'd better safe than sorry, because if No Pal would have recovered that, they would have got the ball there at the 25.
So what does Vince Leidy have with under just a few minutes to go here in the first half? Down 28-0.
Well, I think they were kind of explaining to Coach Leidy that maybe that was an out-of-bounds kick. I don't know if he wants them to re-kick it and move the ball back or to take it where they got the ball.
It looked like it was going directly out of bounds, and you can hear my voice kind of go up of why the Mount Vernon receiving team decided to field that ball. But it looks like he'll send his offense out at the 35.
Maybe a trick play here for Mount Vernon. You got Bridenthal in the game, too, who can also he can do many things, but maybe get him a ball in the backfield on a reverse and a pass or something.
Here's Ertl. Down the field, has Burhen. And, he made that play last week against Greenfield Central, but there's laundry on the field. I think that's going to be pass interference on the Dragons.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those plays where if the defender isn't looking back for the ball, he's running through the offensive receiver. And in that case, Burhen was able to fight for the ball. He's trying to fight through that defensive back. They're going to call that pass interference.
Mason Hyatt giving up about 5 inches to Burhen on that one.
And just made contact just a little too soon. He was in the right position. But I'm impressed with, Burhen can get by anybody.
So 1st and 10 from midfield for the Marauders. There's Ertl. Some pressure. Rolls out and couldn't get out of it. Going to be sacked for a loss.
Yeah, he tried to find Trey Jones right there in the flat, was kind of the safety valve. Brogan picked up the blitz.
And that's Michael Thacker once again, the sophomore, having a great game here in the first half. This Mount Vernon team has to see 2 more years of him. So here's Earl. Here's a handoff. Brogan to the left. Has some room. Nice run. Pushed out of bounds by Rodebush.
Good run there by Martin to get positive gain, make it a manageable third down. Now you have looks like third and 3. You can run a little timing out route here to get the ball in first down and continue this drive.
4-down territory at this point.
Down 28-0. Yeah, you gotta get some momentum. You gotta get on the scoreboard here before halftime. That's your goal.
So here's Ertl. Martin back in. There's a snap. And there's Rodebush, and he wraps Ertl up. And he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage on that. Good awareness by Ertl to get back there.
Yeah, they moved the running back. Martin went to the right side and left. Ian Rodebush was on the left side and was coming. And when they moved the running back, no one was able to pick him up. He was in the backfield almost before the snap.
Coach Kyle Ralph wants to talk things over for his Dragons. That means we'll take a break. It's New Pal 28, Mount Vernon 0 on IndianaSRN.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Fortville, Indiana, a minute 54 left in this first half. It's homecoming night for Mount Vernon, and right now it seems that the Mount Vernon crowd is looking very forward to that at halftime.
So definitely some halftime adjustments for the Marauders. They got to get some offense going here.
So here's Ertl. There's a handoff to Berhen around the line, and Berhen has some room. And like a gazelle that he is, he breaks the tackle, and he keeps charging. And the big 6'5" senior just drags him down. They'll probably give him the 2. And that's why the Purdue Boilermakers were all over this kid. George Berhen with a marvelous run, setting up first and goal for the Marauders.
Well, and it looked like he was going to be a 2-yard loss. He's able to plant his foot, get upfield, and get upfield in a hurry and break through that first line of defense and drag tacklers the last 7 yards.
So here's Ertl. Martin to his right. Here's a snap. Hand off to Martin. Up the middle. And going to push, and we're going to push. And it looks like we're going to stay short. Maybe got a yard, maybe to the 1. Clock continues to run. Now at a minute 15. That'll bring up second and goal. Plenty of time here for the Marauders. Need to get points before the half. Develop some sort of momentum heading into the second 24 minutes of football.
Yeah, with 1 minute left, don't rush this because getting those points are more important here. We got to make sure everyone's on the same page as far as the play call.
Berhen in motion. Here's Ertl. Hand off to Martin. And met immediately. And there's a fumble on the play. And it looks like we'll see what happens here. Maybe he was down. Well,
I thought they were going to.
From that call.
It was close. I thought they might call him down. I thought Martin's forward progress was stopped.
Yeah, it looks like the side judge called that he was down, but Roger Holder saying otherwise. So we'll have a look at this one.
Yeah, just a dive play. Martin has the ball. Thacker's pulling him back. He loses it going down to the ground. I don't question the fumble. It was just a matter of if the whistle blew or not. And they're going to call a fumble recovery, the first fumble of the game, rather, for Mount Vernon. And that's really big for New Pal's defense to keep this shutout before the first half.
Here's Thomas to the left, has some room to the outside, and he's going to keep going. And it looks like he tiptoes his way past the first down marker. And he did. They'll give him 11 on that. Good for a New Pal first down, 38 seconds left. Just an absolute killer turnover for the Marauders there.
And if you think of just the last two series, how a big shift in momentum and change, how Thomas went from maybe being down on a fourth down play to not touching it all and scampering into the end zone to now Mount Vernon has the ball on the 3-yard line. And as they're going in, can't finish the drive and fumble. Just a tough way to end the half on those last two possessions for the Marauders.
Well, once again on that play, is we've said his name multiple times in the past few series, Michael Thacker is just being a menace on that defensive side of the ball for New Pal.
Yeah, he's just able to be that strong and also that nimble and quick. What disruption he can cause. And if you can have 3 down linemen cause that much problems in the offensive backfield, that makes your defense that much more dangerous, because now you're dropping 7 guys, 8 guys into coverage, or maybe 7 guys into coverage and 1 guy maybe spying the quarterback or whatnot. And it makes it very, very tough to beat.
So Kyle Ralph's offense looking at 80-plus yards of green here. Let's see what he does. We play conservative. Here's Tippett to the outside. Has Thacker. Thacker bumping bodies and pushes his way out across the 30. Gets out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. 30 left. And I think I just answered my own question. I think Coach Ralph wants to add to this 28-0 lead for the Dragons.
They're going to go up tempo here. 30 seconds left. They still have a timeout.
So here's Tippett. Snap. Looks downfield and had his receiver there. That was Blaine Nunnally. Just overshot him.
Boy, if he keeps throwing him open, he had Nunnally nothing but green on the inside of him. If he just leads him more toward the Mount Vernon sideline, that could be a long game and potentially take that one to the house. But just a little overthrown and brings up a second down.
Jaden Gibson on the coverage there. So Tippett will try again. 2nd and 10. There's a snap. And whistles blow. And it's encroachment on the Marauders.
Penalties haven't been too bad tonight, but of course the one big one was the helmet-to-helmet contact on the long pass to Crop, but New Pal was able to come away with points anyways. They've scored on every possession tonight.
So here's Tippett to Thomas. Up the middle, bounces off his own player. Gets some leverage, keeps moving. Another penalty.
And he almost wasn't down again. He was trying to see if he can get a second one of those.
You mentioned it, Clark. If not for that helmet-to-helmet penalty, we're looking at a running clock heading into the second half. Possibly.
And they had a face mask, so they'll add on to that 5-yard run by Thomas.
Well, with homecoming, we're looking at a 20-minute halftime, and I don't think Coach Leidy has enough time. I think he's going to use all of that 20 minutes to discuss this first half with his Marauders.
And you're certainly, if you're one of those players, those are some of the harder moments to have as well, as you know that Coach isn't too happy.
We're going to take a break on IndianaSRN.
They say nice guys don't finish first. So maybe it's time to reconsider what it means to be first.
It's about being your best, but knowing you could be even better.
It's being present, but respectful of history.
You sure you want to make that move?
It's donating something more valuable than money.
It's believing in yourself and something bigger.
It's coming from different families, but treating each other like brothers.
It's not just being a man, it's being a Mason.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Hancock Health Stadium, the battle for the boundary rail between these two intense rivals, the New Palestine Dragons and the Mount Vernon Marauders. 19 and a half left in the first half. Tippett fumbles the snap. Collects, has some pressure, wisely throws it to the sideline. It was either Thacker or nothing on that play. Smart play by the senior quarterback.
Yeah, and I've seen New Pal in film. If there is a bugaboo in this offense, sometimes there's a tendency to have some low snaps in this shotgun, and I'm just impressed with Tippett and how he's able to escape pressure and handle those snaps with composure. He doesn't have any interceptions all year. He's got 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's a tribute to him and his composure and being a senior.
So we have an official's timeout. And you mentioned the long snapping Clark. That's Trey Keel, the senior. Another one of those big-bodied offensive linemen for the Dragons. 6'1", 273. Of that group, surprisingly, it's the 5'11", 258 Ben Percival, who's the small one on that line.
I hope they let him go first so he can get second helpings.
Right. But just an outstanding front five
and
for this Dragons team.
And well coached, right? I mean,
absolutely.
It's something to have that size, and that's something you really can't teach is size, but to be able to coach it up and footwork and technique.
So here's Tippett. Drops back, fires over the middle, has a receiver, and dragged down at the 15-yard line. That's Nunnally. I think that's their first connection of the game, brought down by Jaden Gibson. And they'll say the 16. Nice pitch and catch from Tippett to Nunnally.
And with 6.7 seconds, you got enough time to throw it in the end zone if you want to.
Kyle Ralph wants to talk it over.
But with only 6 seconds left, as you see, he drops back the pass. It's that inside post route where he splits the safeties all the way down inside the 15. Again, he rolled on the defender too. That was pretty close to also getting up and finishing that play. But 6.7 seconds left. If you're New Pal, if you got to, this has got to be the end zone or bust. If he's tackled inbounds or doesn't get out of bounds, then that clock's going to run out, and you're going to come away with 0 points here. So it's got to be, if you run a play, you're going to have to throw it in the end zone. If you're Mount Vernon, make sure you get pressure, knock it down. Looks like they're going to have an umbrella kind of coverage with 3 or 4 defenders trying to apply pressure on Tippett. Tippett's already thrown for 2 touchdowns tonight.
So both teams out of timeouts. 6.7 left on the clock in the first half. If New Pal's going to do it, it's going to be one shot in the air. Tippett has to avoid the sack. And here we go. Tippett, fade pattern to the back of the end zone, and it is caught and brought down. Blaine Nunnally. Well, Clark, I'm just going to start calling you Nostradamus. They took one shot to the end zone, and it was Blaine Nunnally that came down with it.
And how fitting, Nunnally with the big 35-yard reception to get him down to the 15-yard line. He's able to high point that ball. Nice, strong hands, nice tight grip. 5 seconds off the clock. Well executed by New Pal. Very, very impressive.
So Tanksley will line up again. There's a snap, hold, kick is up, and the kick is good. That makes it 35-0. The Dragons over the defending 4A state champion Mount Vernon Marauders in Fortville on homecoming night. There's a touchdown.
Yeah, it was just a nice fade pattern. He had 3 on the side, made the safety have to pick on where to go. Threw it over the top. Breidenthal couldn't get there in time. Well executed. Nice timeout by Coach Ralph. 35-0.
Well, through the first 24 minutes of football, we didn't really call Blaine Nunnally's number a lot, but on that last drive, he showed why he's someone that we should be talking about, and that's why the rest of the conference does. So the Dragons will set up shop again to kick off. Just under 2 seconds left here in the first half.
You know, we talk a lot about how impressive their running game is, and certainly it is. Grayson Thomas has 124 yards on the ground with a touchdown, but Tippett able to do it through the air tonight has made this offense dangerous.
So here's Tanksley. He's been busy tonight from his 40. And he'll just scooch it across. It's picked up off the ground. And 0.7. I think the call is here. Just take the snap, take the knee.
Yeah, I think it would be just to take a snap, take the knee, go into halftime, regroup. You're going to get the ball coming out of halftime here to start the third quarter, and there's no 35-point touchdown, so you just got to look at it in specific chunks. Get a couple of first down, get some series, get the ball rolling, get inside the red zone, punch it in, and then go from there.
And that's exactly what the Marauders and Coach Vince Leidy will do. And we'll call it a half. Well, they're the number 1 ranked team in 4A for a reason, as the New Palestine Dragons have come into Fortville with a purpose. They lead the Mount Vernon Marauders on homecoming 35-0. We're going to take a break. When we come back, some homecoming festivities. The band will be on the field, and we'll have some halftime stats for you. Watching Friday Night High School Football right here on IndianaSRN.
School football fans, welcome back to Friday night, to pure spirits, to pure sports. Welcome back to high school football.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back!
This is Friday night. This is Indiana high school football. This is your IHSAA.
When I'm at a Super Bowl and I walk in that stadium at kickoff time and I see that football sitting down there on that field, I get goosebumps because I sewed that football. I am Jane Helser. I recently retired. I started working at Wilson on April 13th, 1966. I was 19 years old. I put an application at Wilson. I got the job, never thinking that I'd be there for 48 years. I enjoyed what I did, so I just stayed.
The Wilson Football Factory here, it's actually like a secret. I was raised about 20 miles from here and never even knew this place was here. We make NFL footballs year-round. We manufactured the ball for every Super Bowl, and every point scored in the NFL since 1941 has been scored with a Wilson football. Jane was the longest tenured employee when she retired.
I would get up at about 3:30 in the morning to be on the job at 5 a.m. I had to oil up my machine every day. I could sew about 150 footballs a day. A football is made from a big piece of leather. It's cut out like a cookie cutter, and that panel is split down to a certain size. They're stamped with a logo, and then there's a lining that's put on it to hold the shape of the ball. When I get the football, it's in 4 panels. There's the top 2 panels, those 2 are sewed together, leaving the opening. Then I sew the bottom 2 panels together. After the lace holes are punched and the seam are pounded down, then I sew the full section together. The rule of thumb is you don't make a good football sewer until you run a needle through your finger. One time the needle just slid up underneath the foot, stuck in my finger. They put an ice pack on it, took me to the doctor, he cut it out, and I went back to work the rest of the afternoon. I'm tough. The turner gets the nice job of turning it right side out. Then it goes to the lacer, he or she, puts a bladder in it and then laces it. After it goes to the lacer, it's molded. Then the ball is ready to be inspected.
Sewing the football together is probably the most important quality as far as manufacturing. The ball has to have perfect seams, the ends have to line up perfectly, and therefore I think sewing is probably the most critical job in manufacturing the ball. We do not want to change the product in its total, because the most important thing is the integrity of football. So our thing's consistency, make a consistent product that feels the same to the player every time they pick it up.
There's a cold swim. I tell people that I've been to 9 Super Bowls, but I've never been to an Ohio State football game. I've been to Miami twice, Tampa twice, Arizona twice, soon to be the 3rd time, New Orleans and Indianapolis. I'm just a worker that got a job when I was 19 years old and stayed there and was able to try to do the best job I could. And I've been rewarded greatly for it.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool, but they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take things to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person, and they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 21 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.
We're back in Fortville, Indiana, Hancock Health Stadium, which sees the New Palestine Dragons have came in here tonight and put up 35 in the first half and held Mount Vernon to 0 points. Friday night high school football here on IndianaSRN, alongside my broadcast partner, Clark Chapin. I'm John Cupo. And Clark, lots of stats, lots of offense, and a lot of that came from the Dragons of New Palestine.
John, it has been an impressive first half. New Palestine scored on every possession. We'll start with the quarterback, Daniel Tippett. The senior is 9 of 15 for 60%. Had a rough start at the beginning, but has since then really caught fire. Had 167 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, touchdown receptions of 32 yards, 44 yards, and the last one coming before half, a 15-yarder. Grayson Thomas, the junior, who averages 159 yards per contest, has 17 carries. They bottled him up for the most part, but he got loose on his 15th carry for a 46-yard touchdown. He has 17 carries for 124 yards and a touchdown. Receiving, Isaiah Thacker leads the way. He's got 5 receptions for 75 yards and a touchdown. Kyler Kropp has a 32-yard touchdown reception. He's got 42 yards on the night on catching 2 passes. Could have had more, but it was called back from penalty. And Blaine Nunnally has 2 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. For the Marauders of Mount Vernon, it's been tough sledding offensively. Luke Ertl is only 3 of 9 for 17 yards and an INT. So credit that New Pal defense. Mount Vernon rushing, you have Ashton Julian started the game, has 1 carry for 3 yards. Jobala Brogan has 4 carries for 9 yards. Drew Martin came in, provided a nice spark for the Marauders. He has 7 carries for 47 yards. And the big run was the George Buren end around for a 42-yard that took the ball all the way down inside the 5-yard line. And receiving, Tyler Etherington has 1 reception for 7 yards and Trey Jones for 10 yards. And here's that end around to Buren, who cuts around the side, breaks a tackle, and now you see him hit the accelerator all the way up to 16 miles an hour and down to the 2-yard line. But fortunately, that scoring threat ended up just short of the goal line for the Marauders, and that takes us to a 35-0 halftime score, John.
And that means that we'll have a running clock starting in the second half. Maybe Mount Vernon gets a pep talk or 2, and a hard one from Coach Vince Lighty, and it's halftime. We're going to step aside. You're watching IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
It is homecoming night here in Fortville, Indiana for the Mount Vernon High School. And 3 football players made the homecoming court this round. It's Ashton Julian, Tachi Anawan, and Javion Jackson. Not sure who the winner was, but I'm sure that whoever it was is well-deserving along with the Queen tonight. And for our halftime entertainment, always a good one. It's a Mount Vernon band, very good in competition across the state of Indiana. Do a fabulous job, both on the competition side and the performance side. So for your enjoyment, we're going to give you that band performance tonight.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for these kids that work so hard and they put in a lot of hours as well, a lot of production. It'll be a fun time for us to bring that to you.
You can see those classic uniforms that the Mount Vernon Marauder Band is accustomed to showing us. They have their dancers out there. Always perform to the highest standards.
I was a band guy myself, John, a little trombone back in the day, and even a little tuba. So that was always fun to and even playing high school basketball. One of my fondest memories. I just enjoyed the pep band before the game. It really set the tone and set the mood for me as a player. So you see these young men and women out here, and the percussion getting set up with the bells and the chimes and the big bass drums, and it's great to have these productions that these kids can show off what their skills and their talents as well.
And I will join you on that sentiment. I was the sousaphone
nice
player back in my days of high school, Berea High School's class of 97. So we're going to turn it over to the band here for your halftime entertainment.
Challenger for the white and yellow Bullets is the band ready. Capitol High School Band of Warriors, you take the field for performance.
The Band of Marauders here at Mount Vernon High School. Superintendent Dr. Jack Parker has put a lot into this district to make sure that this is one of the finest programs in all of the Hoosier Heritage Conference and all of Central Indiana. It's halftime. New Palestine Dragons 35, the Mount Vernon Marauders 0. Since its inception in 1987, Indiana Mulch and Stone has been dedicated to providing the highest quality products to landscapers, businesses, and residents in Central Indiana. Our first priority and foremost goal is to establish long-term relationships with our customers by offering exceptional service and the highest quality landscape products. This philosophy has defined our success for the last 35 years and will continue for decades to follow. Contact us today at IndianaMulch.com. Dragons enter the field. Marauders on the other side. We're going to step aside. We'll come back on Indiana SRN. Back in Fortville, Indiana, Hancock Health Stadium. The Mount Vernon Marauders playing host to the New Palestine Dragons. 35-0 is our score at halftime. Clark, you read a lot of stats there. A lot of it on the plus side for New Palestine. One note, though, and we'll see how Coach Kyle Ralph handles this in the second half with the big lead. But you had mentioned the big running day so far by the junior running back, Grayson Thomas. I believe you gave him 124 unofficially on the ground.
Unofficially, 124 yards on 17 carries and a touchdown.
But if this young man runs for an additional 10 yards in this second half, he'll become the 5th person running back in New Palestine history to run for 3,000 yards in his young career with, again, a season and a half to go.
And just a junior, and you just mentioned it, a season and a half. This is game 4. We're already moving pretty quickly through the season, and an impressive stat for an impressive running back, and I'm sure he'd be the first to give credit to his offensive linemen and all the help that they give him.
And we told you about their offensive line from New Palestine with the 2 big bookends in Ian Moore, the junior, and Luke Burgess, the senior, already committed to Louisville. Played 4 years of football with the Cardinals down there. And then when you look at junior Ian Moore, 23 FBS offers, 20 from Power 5 schools, and 9 from the Big Ten, including your alma mater, Indiana.
Go Big Red.
Also Iowa, Michigan State, Minnesota, Nebraska, the Buckeyes, Penn State, Purdue, and Wisconsin.
Got a few scores here before kickoff. Heritage Christian leads early in the third over Eastern Hancock 28-8. South Bend St. Joe 21-0 over South Bend Adams. Fishers 21-14 over HSE, and Covenant Christian 40-21 leaders in the third quarter over North Putnam. Get you kind of updated on some scores around our network. Big second half coming up. This is a big possession for Mount Vernon. They got a little spark from Drew Martin when he was in there at halfback. Let's see if they can get him going and get the ball in the end zone. Just increments at a time. Get a drive, get something positive going. And maybe some of these halftime adjustments will help the Marauders.
Yep, Clark, you mentioned it at the break, is that you can't score 35 at once. So here's a kickoff return. Out to about the 30.
Maybe I'd like to also see Mount Vernon try to get Breidenthal and Burien into some of these offensive attacks. Try to get them the ball down the field, or at least get them the ball in open space. Ertl's been under pressure quite a bit tonight, and now that New Pal knows with a 35-0 lead that the likelihood of Mount Vernon throwing the ball is pretty high, so they're going to pin their ears back and go after Ertl.
So it looks like he has Brogan in his backfield. Here's Ertl from the gun. Here's a snap. Ertl fires to the side of the field and just overshoots his receiver. Intended for Tyler Etherington. Bring up 2nd and 10 for the Marauders. I'm surprised here, Clark, that maybe Coach Leidy doesn't go back to Drew Martin, as you mentioned. Really the big game getter for the Marauders in the first half. Showed a lot of promise, gave them some momentum on the ground.
Yeah, I had him for 47 yards on 7 carries, so he definitely provided a spark. As you see another out pass, just a 5-yard out route to get some positive yards, able to make that completion.
And he threw it in the breadbasket. That was Breidenthal, the senior.
That's his first catch on the evening. He comes in as one of the receivers, averaging 74 yards per contest through the air.
Definitely need to see more of him here in the second half. Here's Ertl. Now throws down the field looking for Burhen, and he had it in and out of his hands. That was a great ball by Luke Ertl.
That was right over his shoulder, dropped it in the breadbasket, and that's when Burien really, he's got such soft hands. I was really surprised that one just kind of went through, but great pass, nice pickup by the running back on the blitz. Able to provide Ertl enough time to step up in the pocket, make an accurate throw. Just weren't able to finish the play.
And Dean Helms back again to punt. Stands at his 21. Snap is back. Gets off the punt. End over end. Takes a bounce. A little bit of Marauder hop. And they'll let it go at about the 28-yard line. So decent punt, no return. And that'll bring out the Dragons offense for the first time here in the second half. Running clock with the Dragons up 35-0.
Yeah, and if you're a New Pal right now, it's just a ground and pound kind of game, right? It's you're just looking to turn out first downs and keep a series going. We're trying to shorten that game. If they put it in the air, I'll be surprised unless it's a need. But certainly in a rivalry game, you never,
we don't know the relationship between Ralph and Leidy, but here's Thacker. And he's busting tackles, and he's going to get dragged down right around the, let's see, they'll give him, we'll call it the 48 on the Marauder side of the field. And Dragon fans, that puts Grayson Thomas, only the 5th player in New Palestine history to rush for 3,000 yards on that carry. Congratulations, young man.
It did not take long.
So here's Tippett. And that gets Marauders jumping.
Yeah, free 5 yards at Indiana high school football. They call that play dead. NFL, you can continue that on and try to make a big play out of it, but just for safety reasons, they obviously call the play dead and penalize 5 yards.
Well, I guess everybody's back was towards that. We saw something that the refs didn't, but play on, and that'll be good for a New Pal first down. Actually, no, they did see it. It'll be declined. We didn't see any laundry on the field, but Roger Holder decided to step in and call it anyway. Too many men on the field for the Marauders.
Caught the Marauders in a line change, shift change, and they're trying to get some new defensive players on the field. And 8-yard gain, though, by Thomas. They declined the penalty.
So here's Tippett in the gun. Here's Thomas, met in the backfield immediately. Nice play. Tyler Kimberly coming from that line position, wrapped them up. A loss on the play.
Yeah, that's just good awareness by Kimberly, able to come around that backside and grab Thomas and hold him to no gain.
Clark, I think what Leidy needs to see here from his young core of Marauders here, especially on this defense, is just hold up. Keep playing. It's a running clock. You see a big 35 in front of you on the scoreboard on the north side of the field. But just play hard for these final 18 minutes and just show that you belong on the field.
Right. Don't look at the scoreboard. Just keep your head down. Do what you're coached to do. Keep playing hard. Keep being physical. Communicate. Talk. Limit your mistakes as far as from a tackling standpoint. If you can't bring him down, hold him up until your friends get there, and just try to do your best to execute.
Here's Tippett. Fires to the right, and it was tipped. He was looking for Thacker there. Good defense by the senior, Ren Davis.
Yeah, Ren Davis was in excellent position, was able to put his left hand out in front of the intended receiver and knock it away. Nice pass breakup by Davis.
And with the running clock, no threat of an incomplete pass, stopping that clock. So we're coming up on 5 minutes here left in the third quarter. The Dragons up 35-0.
And a big fourth down play for Mount Vernon. New Pal looks like they're going to go ahead and go for it. They could squib kick it here, but with a running clock.
And I guess Kyle Ralph wants to talk it over. So the Dragons will head to the sideline and we'll step aside. You're watching Friday Night Football here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Homecoming night here for Mount Vernon in Fortville, Indiana. New Pal has kind of deflated the excitement here. Here's Tippett rolling to his left, fires down the sideline, has his man. Kyler Kropp across the seam there. And they'll mark him at the 5. Just a good heads-up play.
How about the play by Tippett there? Able to reverse his momentum, got the whole defensive line going the other way. I thought he might run for the first down. He had plenty of room. Here it is. We see him in the pocket, the pressure coming, and just steps the other way and makes an accurate throw to his left for a first down. A big play on the fourth down.
Roland Tremble got back there pretty fast. And it looks like it came down a little bit awkwardly.
Yeah, that quick movement by Tippett maybe had resulted in an injured Marauder. The great execution there by New Pal on the fourth down. Like we said, Tippett rolling to his left and able to find Kyler Kropp. Kropp's third reception.
So they're going to tend to the player on the field. Not sure who it is yet. But we'll see. We'll let the training staff get to him. In the meantime, we'll take a break. Watching Friday Night High School Football here on IndianaSRN.
Needing to hire someone to take care of your loved one when you're away? Maybe your family member just needs someone to talk to when you're not around. Why not contact Indiana licensed Serenity Care Services? Call Angela, owner of Serenity Care Services, at 317-900-6202. Our team of trained and experienced personal care providers are licensed to serve seniors requiring companion care and light housekeeping services in Indianapolis and its 5 surrounding counties. Call us today at 317-900-6202. now hiring qualified applicants.
Back underway here at Hancock Health Stadium. New Palestine Dragons 35, Mount Vernon Marauders 0. Good news is Roland Tremble walked off under his own power. Very good news for the young man. The junior sets up first and goal for the Dragons. And right up the middle, about to give him to the 1. That was Thomas. So that'll bring up second and goal. Here's Thomas again, just straight up the middle. Power football, give him 6.
And you described it right, John. Power football, just giving the ball to Grayson Thomas up the middle. 23 carries, 163 yards, and now his second touchdown of the evening.
So it'll be Tanksley again. Dual sport fall athlete, also soccer player for these Dragons. Here's a snap. Hold is good. And so is the kick. Makes a score 42-0. The Dragons have come into Fortville and Mount Vernon with a purpose. Boundary rail is on the line. So is the helmet trophy. And at this point, even though with 3 minutes left, looks like they'll be going back with both.
Well, it sure does. And there you see the power play. Looked like Mount Vernon tried to get that stop as Keelan LaBelle darted in from the right side. Just unable to get there in time. And Grayson Thomas, just a talented back himself. All that momentum going forward behind that big offensive line, gets his second touchdown of the night. And New Pal offense is a machine, whether it's been through the air. That's what I've been impressed with tonight. They've been able to execute through the air. We knew about the ground game. We knew about that offensive rushing attack behind those great offensive linemen that they have, and Grayson Thomas in the year that he's having. But to team that up with the powerful receptions through the air, the big chunk plays that they're getting, makes for a dangerous offense.
Thomas able to run behind 549 pounds of lineman for that touchdown. And fielded at the 20, dropped to the knee. That was Drew Martin. So the Marauders will set up shop. Clock is running, just under 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. Down 42-0.
And just want to get, as you mentioned earlier, John, just some positive plays here for the Marauders. You got a young quarterback, and Luke Ertl has had a really nice freshman year, averaging almost 200 yards per contest. But the New Pal defense has been a tough riddle to solve tonight.
So here's Ertl in the gun. There's a snap, handoff up the middle, and short gain on first down. Clark, in our meetings this week, was able to meet with athletic director Brandon Ecker and his new assistant, now 2 years, head coach of the women's basketball team, Julie Shelton. And one thing that really excels here at Mount Vernon, the facilities and just the resources that these kids are given. There's Breidenthal on the reception, makes a little juke move, end around, breaks a tackle, and he'll fight his way for some extra yardage to about the 33, 34-yard line. That's good for a Marauder first down. But you look around the facilities here on the campus of Mount Vernon, and everything is just top-notch. Just put in some new scoreboards over on the baseball field. Soccer and softball will soon be getting new scoreboards. Some renovations on the track. This football field, you can see now sponsored by Dellen Field. The gym. There's a throw, and that's caught. It's Trey Jones. It's going to be a foot race, and it's going to be won by Jones. Give him 6. Ertl to Jones, touchdown, Mount Vernon.
Well, that's one thing. If you're a new Pal defender, you can't give up the big play. You want to keep the ball in front of you. Just kind of relax. Trey Jones in just a go route. Perfectly thrown ball by Ertl. He's had 2 nice long passes this second half. Wasn't able to connect on the first one there in the first possession, but laid that one right in the breadbasket to Jones. Touchdown, Mount Vernon.
So here's Bernard for the extra point. Kick is up. And no good. So that's going to leave it at 42-6, but on a positive note.
Here it is, just lays it out perfect over the shoulder. In stride, Jones outruns the defender. 62-yard touchdown reception. Luke Ertl to Trey Jones.
And that's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter. Mount Vernon showing some signs of life on a great pass from Luke Ertl to Trey Jones. It's 42-6. We'll be back right here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
42-6 on the campus of Mount Vernon here in Hancock Health Stadium. Mount Vernon with a nice strike from Luke Ertl to Trey Jones on a long touchdown reception. Nullifies the clean sheet for New Pal.
Now the defensive coordinator won't be happy about that, but we talked about the execution and what Mount Vernon had to do, and certainly they took what the defense gave him in there. Good vision by Ertl to find Jones down the sideline.
A little pop-up by Bernard, big hit. Someone lost a hat.
It looked like Trey Fox, senior, came down and laid the wood, lost his helmet. Glad his head wasn't in it. Good job, Trey. Nice hit.
So the Dragons will come back on the field. They'll set it up at their own 27-yard line. Clock is running now under 11 and a half in the fourth quarter. Clark, I was talking about the facilities here at Mount Vernon and the excellent job that Brandon Ecker and Julie Shelton have done putting all this together in the past few years, winning programs all across the board in all sports. Same can be said down the road in New Pal.
It's a really good conference, the Hoosier Heritage Conference. Sports run deep. Even thinking about volleyball, it's a great volleyball conference, including Yorktown, Delta. You've got Pendleton Heights. You've got lots of talented schools and athletes, and it's nice that these schools are providing the best for these kids so they can, have a great experience in high school.
Al Cooper and Trent Whitaker, his sidekick over there at New Pal, running the athletic program. Again, providing lots of amenities and resources for these kids. Well, we got a new signal caller in the backfield. And he takes it, and he's got some green to the right side of the field, makes a cut, runs into the defender, and wow, one touch, and it was a good one.
Yeah, Brady Armstrong, backup quarterback. He's a 5'9" junior, and it was just a read option where he fakes the handoff and the dive and then just follows the running back in the hole. The running back ends up becoming kind of like a fullback lead blocker Armstrong finds the seam and runs down the line for a huge gain for New Pal. These backup guys, they work hard in practice too. As a coach, there's a fine line between pouring it on and still letting these kids come out and play.
And some laundry on the field. We'll see what Roger Holder decides on this one.
False start on the Dragons, are moving back 5 yards.
Well, if you're looking for breakfast or brunch, head on over to Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe, open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tammy and her staff are waiting to serve you and your family. Try the biscuits and gravy or a quiche. And we know our very own coach recommends the BLT. Tam's located at 6427 Oaklandon Road in Indianapolis. So here's Armstrong in the gun. Hands it off, up the middle, power football. Swarm of Marauders met him in the hole.
Yeah, it's number 5, Daniel Thacker. He's a senior running back, 5'8", 150. It's his first carry of the night for 3 yards. As the clock slowly runs down to 8 minutes here in the fourth quarter.
Thacker with the big interception on the goal line in the first half. His brother Michael having just an outstanding game on the defensive line for the Dragons. Here's Armstrong. Keeper to the right. Cuts back. Met in the hole. One, maybe two.
And nice job of Armstrong of staying in bounds. Of course, I guess the clock's running, but it's important to practice those good habits. You want to stay in bounds in this situation if the clock was stopping.
So we're coming up to 7:30 left in the game here, the fourth quarter. New Pal 42, Mount Vernon 6. Armstrong in the gun. Thacker to his right. Cowbell's still going here.
Give me some
at
cowbell.
Hancock Health Stadium.
Nice dive by Thacker. It's fourth down and a manageable fourth down. I would assume New Pal will keep the offense on the field. Maybe see them go to the wide side of the field. They've been to that short side the last couple of times.
And as you mentioned, Clark, a lot of backups into the game right now, but these kids practice just as hard as the starters through practice. And you want to see the effort, no matter what the score is, no matter how much time's left on the clock. Same goes for Mount Vernon and its defense. These kids have an opportunity to play now. Show Coach Lighty a thing or two.
Yeah, it's your time to make an impression. And like you said, you put all the work in during the season, during practice, and hopefully they see the fruits of their labor.
So Kyle Ralph wants to talk things over, and that means we'll step aside. It's Friday Night Football here on IndianaSRN.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
So the soccer player Tanksley will line up. He's been a busy boy.
Yeah, this is a 36-yarder.
And it's up. And no good.
It looked like he had plenty of leg. It just looked like it missed on the right-hand side, but a 36-yarder probably could have been good for another 5 yards. I think as far from a distance standpoint, a low snap was handled well by the holder, just a little off to the right.
He has been busy tonight, so the leg may have been a little tired.
A little fatigued.
Would you want to go back to that touchdown pass and catch from Ertl to Trey Jones for our Telemetry Sports? We'll wait a second. Jumping the gun a little bit fast here. Maybe I'll get on the Telemetry Sports there for Maybe moving 60 miles per hour on my lead into that.
Well, that play was very big for Mount Vernon. It got Luke Ertl up to 98 yards passing, 6 for 14. He's 3 of 5 for this half. And Trey Jones now has 3 receptions for 72 yards and a touchdown. So the Marauders getting on the board, very important for this young ball club.
Got another whistle. Not sure what it was. Roger Holder says play on. Coming up on 5 minutes. Here's an end around to the right side, and he trips over his feet. Had some green ahead of him.
Chris Edmonds there on the end around. Had some speed going, just blew a flat tire there as he turned 3, or else he could have gone maybe for a first down.
Chris Edmonds, a junior, getting his first look of the game. Here's Ertl on 2nd and 6. Drop, going to roll to his left, some pressure. Throws it out to the left and into the bench.
And it's a good decision by Ertl. They had a guy in the flat and a guy in the deep, receiver in the flat and receiver deep, and there was 5 Dragons on that side of the field, not to mention nice pressure by Ethan Lay, the 5'8" senior on the right side of the defensive line. Good decision by Ertl to get rid of it.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 6 for the Marauders. Ertl in the gun. Here's a snap in the pocket. Rolls to his left. Now calling a receiver to come up. He's going to keep it. Some pressure. And he's taken down. Good pursuit by the linebacker.
Yeah, Ertl's trying to direct some traffic out there to try to maybe, usually when the quarterback rolls to your side, receivers will run go routes and run down the sideline, and possibly receivers on the other side of the field will kind of come across. But everybody was covered up there by the Dragons defense. It brings up 4th down and 6.
Good play by the junior Liam Fuller. Here's Ertl. The gun. Out to the flat and just underthrew his receiver. That was Chris Edmonds.
Yeah, that was just a timing play. You can see both guys a little frustrated. Edmonds wanted it a little higher. Ertl was wanted maybe to turn around a little quicker, and that's just a practice thing where those guys probably haven't been in the same unit at practice at the same time. An unfortunate turnover on downs for the Marauders, and New Pal will have the ball at the 24-yard line.
And that's going to bring us to about 2:45 left in this contest. Running clock. New Palestine Dragons up 42-6 on the Mount Vernon Marauders. As we wrap up shop here next week, New Palestine will wrap up their mini road trip with a trip to Pendleton Heights to take on the Arabians. And Mount Vernon will travel out to Muncie to take on Delta. 7:30 start for the Marauders and 7 p.m.
Yeah, I think
for the Dragons.
I think both teams just have conference games left on the schedule. New Pal has Pendleton Heights 2-1, Greenfield Central 2-1, and they'll close the year with Delta, who's 3-0 and 1-0 in conference.
Clark, I think if you're Coach Leidy, you take this tape, you pitch it, you reset, you start the season 0-0 when you head to Delta next week.
And as we mentioned, Delta's 3-0 and 1-0 in conference. It's a road game. You know they're going to be excited, but yeah, you got to hit the reset button. Certainly go back to fundamentals, go back to what's, what you're trying to build. We can also give credit to New Pal. They're the number 1 team in the state for a reason, and they've certainly proven that tonight.
And if the parents or anybody else from Pendleton Heights is watching this game, make sure your boys are starting to eat the Wheaties, because it's a running game and an offensive line that you are going to have to deal with when the Dragons head out there next week. And we're under a minute to play, and it's victory formation time for the Dragons. And we may get one more play off. Now 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, the victory formation, as you said, going to seal the deal for New Pal tonight. They're not going to have to snap it as the play clock is running high.
And everybody's running off the field. And we don't have a final whistle yet, but we'll hear it here soon. And they're taking the field. So your final score tonight, it was homecoming, but it was the New Palestine Dragons that'll head back with the boundary rail and the helmet trophy in the Hoosier Heritage Conference. A special thank you to our on-site crew, Keith Myers and Ethan Michael, and our excellent producer, Greg Smith. On behalf of my broadcast partner, Clark Chafin, I'm John Cupo, and we thank you for spending your Friday night here with us on Indiana SRN. Good night, everybody.
Bertner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.